Ah, Mykonos, a town blanketed in white and capped in colorful domes. There is so much to do on this amazing island. In this video, we're exploring this Cycladic paradise and walking through the top things you need to do and see when you visit the island of Mykonos. The first thing you need to see when you visit Mykonos are the island's famous windmills. Nestled along the coastal edge in Mykonos town, the island's iconic row of windmills are probably the most defining landmark of the Mykonos skyline. Here, you'll find one of the best spots to grab a photo, learn some history, and experience exactly why Mykonos has earned the nickname the Isle of Wind.
No trip to Mykonos is complete without stopping to see the Mykonos windmills. These windmills are actually over 500 years old. The Venetians started construction on them in the 1500s, and construction continued all the way through the 1900s. These were made to mill wheat, which was important for trading. As you can see, this is a spot that definitely gets busy with tourists, so be sure to come early if you want the spot to yourself for some photos.
And while Windmill Row certainly gets busy throughout the day, it's still a great place to relax, as the crowds really do ebb and flow, and you'll still enjoy little patches of time where you can get them almost entirely to yourself. We say almost because chances are you're almost guaranteed to still run into this guy who loves to guard the area. Or cats like this that love your company, or at least photobombing your pictures. And in addition to Mykonos' famous Windmill Row, which is closer to sea level, this island actually has windmills all over the city. The one behind me is Bonnie's Windmill, and it's a little higher up in the city, and the walk up here is absolutely beautiful and gives you amazing views of the city below.
And you can clearly see why there's windmills here because it is windy. While near Mykonos' row of windmills, it's the perfect time to travel downhill to the next spot on our list, Little Venice. Here it's just a 5-minute walk from the windmills to reach a picture-perfect spot overlooking this famous row of buildings. We found this to be a great spot to eat some to-go and appreciate the romantic view of Little Venice amongst the sounds of splashing waves.
So behind me you have one of the most picture-perfect parts of Mykonos, and that's Little Venice. Mykonos' history is very tied to the Venetians, and in Mykonos' early history they traded often with Venice. Actually, believe it or not, eventually they fell under Venice rule. So there's tons of Venetian influence here. You can see that in some of the architecture, just like Little Venice behind me.
The next spot on our list isn't a single spot at all, but rather a collection of some of the most famous icons in Mykonos. Let's cut to Michael at one of the most famous examples of Cycladic architecture on the island.
Another thing you need to see when you come to Mykonos is check out all the small chapels and churches on this island. We've been amazed at how many small chapels we've come across just wandering the quaint little streets, and each one has its own unique shape and colorful dome. There's actually over 600 churches on the island, which is really amazing since that's about as many families as there are on the island as well. It seems like each family almost has a chapel, which is pretty spectacular, and each chapel is pretty unique. Most of them face towards the sea, as when they were built back in the day, they believed that would give good fortune to the sailors returning home. And while you're checking out chapels, you have to see probably the most famous one on the island, and that's the one right behind me, which is actually comprised of 5 churches. It's located right on the sea, and right around sunset it casts in this beautiful orange glow.
And while the 5 churches are probably one of the most famous string of churches on the island, we found they weren't actually the prettiest. In fact, we found the seemingly small churches and chapels scattered amongst Mykonos streets were almost all more picture perfect and usually had fewer crowds. We honestly were in awe just how many of these churches can be nestled together in close proximity on seemingly random side streets, and we felt chapel spotting was one of our favorite memories of our time in Mykonos.
Alright, the next item on our list is to shop on some of the most famous streets in Mykonos. Chances are, if you're visiting somewhere as beautiful as Mykonos, you might want to pick up a little souvenir to remember your time on this amazing island. Luckily, Mykonos makes this super easy. Along the main streets, you'll find plenty of independent shops selling quintessential souvenirs, including t-shirts, mugs, shot glasses, and fridge magnets. However, there are many more local items you might want to pick up to capture the authentic culture of Mykonos. Some of these include the famous blue glass evil eyes, which are said to reflect bad energy that can bring you misfortune and headaches. You can find these on all sorts of jewelry and glass goods, and they make for great gifts. If you're looking for something tastier, Mykonos is also known for their olive oil and their honey, both of which are great items to bring back if you want the taste of Greece after your travels. If you're interested in more high-end shopping, you'll need to wander over to this street. This has been voted one of the prettiest streets in the entire world, and all throughout this area are some of Mykonos' prettiest boutiques and high-end shops. Even if you're not in the market for anything luxury, it's still a wonderful area to stroll through and just peek into all the uniquely designed stores and window shop at some of the world's most prestigious brands.
While you're walking these pretty streets, it's a great time to try one of the next things on our list, and that's some authentic Greek cuisine. And while there are plenty of spots to dine on some expensive sit-down meals, Mykonos is also a great spot to sample souvlaki, which is a fast food that Greece is known for. We visited this gyro shop countless times during our stay in Mykonos, which had both amazing meat and vegetarian options. And in addition to gyros, there are so many Greek dishes you need to try when you visit Mykonos. We'll be releasing our Mykonos food tour shortly, where we walk through some of our favorite Greek dishes and some of the restaurants we ate at while we were here. We'll cover some local spots highlighting the island's most affordable eats, as well as some sit-down restaurants to try some amazing meals. So be sure you subscribe to check that video out as well.
And no trip to Mykonos is complete without spending some time on the sand. The Greek islands are known for their scenic swim spots, and Mykonos is a fantastic spot to take a dip in the sea. And while there is a small strip of beach located right in the old town, we decided to try out Mykonos' public transportation to take us to one of the island's most famous beaches. Here, we picked up a ticket from the bus window and boarded an air-conditioned bus that zipped us right to the beach. We'll cover at a much greater length the tips and tricks to public transportation options in our upcoming Mykonos travel guide, so be sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Anyways, it's a quick 15-minute bus ride to the beach, and if you'd like, there are beach chairs to rent, but if you're looking to save your pocket money so you can afford a few more euros like us, there's also a free small section of beach, which is great for laying out and reading. We found the waters here to be clean and crystal clear and had an absolute blast swimming here.
If you're looking to get out of the main tourist destinations in Mykonos and have a little bit more freedom on your trip, this next thing's for you. And that's renting an ATV on the island. Given most travelers stay mostly in the main town of Mykonos, renting your own wheels is a great way to see more of the island at your own pace, and without the crowds. If you do plan on renting an ATV, just know that if you're not from the EU, you'll need to have an international driver's permit, which you'll need to pick up before your trip in your home country. They will check for this, so it's essential to plan ahead. We also use our international driver's permit in Japan to go-karting around the streets of Tokyo, so it's been one of the best pre-travel investments we've ever made.
One of the popular ways to get around Mykonos is to rent a scooter or an ATV. We've seen lots of people renting these, and it seems like a really fun way to navigate the island. With these, you're able to get to beaches that some of the public buses don't take you to, so you definitely can explore a bit more at your own pace and see some corners of Mykonos that you might otherwise miss. You are on the hook though for paying for gas, and the rental fees can get a little bit high, especially in peak season, but if you're looking to explore on your own, this is definitely an option for getting around Mykonos. And even if you don't rent an ATV, you still have plenty of options to explore and beat the crowds, even if just from the comfort of the main town area. One of the things you need to do when you're in Mykonos is just get lost exploring all of these little side streets. It gets really busy during the main seasons along the main stretch of shops, but as you navigate the city, it just sprawls out into these cute little alleyways that give you amazing views with the whitewashed streets. And while you're wandering these cozy side streets in Mykonos, there's just about no way you can miss this next item on our list, and that's to say hi to all the lovely Greek cats that call this island their home. We seriously couldn't get over how many cats we met in Mykonos, all of which were so friendly and seemed to love all the attention fellow travelers were giving them. As always with animals though, approach them at your own risk and be sure to bring lots of hand sanitizer, because chances are if you're like us, you're gonna have a hard time not petting these cuties if you see them wandering up to you. We felt Mykonos was like one giant I Spy game looking for cats, and we love seeing them walking all over the city.
Yeah, is it good? Is it good? Another thing you have to do when you're in Mykonos is to say hi to all the friendly local cats. You're gonna find so many around pretty much every corner in Mykonos, and they're all so friendly and so cute. Like this little guy. Isn't that right? Alright, the next thing to do on our top list of things to do in Mykonos is to catch a sunset. While most islands are known for their sunrises and sunsets, Mykonos takes this to a whole new level. There's something about the way the sun bounces off the water and paints the whitewashed buildings in a warm glow. And when the sun goes down, you can expect to see plenty of travelers flocking to the spots to get the best views. And if you're looking for a great spot to catch a sunset in Mykonos, right behind the windmills, you get panoramic views of the sea and this side of the island. Obviously, you can see the windmills, little Venice in the distance, all of the boats coming in, and of course the sun setting on the sea. This is such a pretty spot to just soak everything in.
So that's it for our top things to do in Mykonos video. Please give this video a like if you found it helpful, and subscribe to see our upcoming content from Mykonos and several other spots around Greece. After we release our Mykonos food tour and travel tip guide, we'll be traveling to the Greek island of Paros, which is less crowded and has its own unique feel. Then we'll be visiting Santorini, where we're exploring that island and sharing the top sites to see there before we head to Athens to do the same. So be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.